do. What I'm about to say is what they want us to do. And if we do what they want, we will continue with this left versus right tribalistic divide, and we will keep just hating each other, and we will never, ever be able to transfer power back to the people. So the strongest year of new small business applications in American history was 2021. The second, tweets President Biden, 2022. Gee, I wonder why. Hey, welcome to A Plea to Humanity, episode 4. In this episode, I'm going to go through a few tweets and try to unpack a few how politicians are just trying to keep us in this tribalistic, partisan cage. They want you angry. They want you hating one another. They want you hating that other side. And if we can break free from that, then we can get closer and closer to transferring power back to the people. So let's go back to this tweet from President Biden. The strongest year of new small business applications in American history was 2021. The second, he says, 2022. Gee, again, I wonder why. Can you think why small business applications might have reached an all-time high in 2021? Let me think. Could it be how the government shut down small businesses during the COVID pandemic? Now, this is what they want us to do. What I'm about to say is what they want us to do. And if we do what they want, we will continue with this left versus right tribalistic divide, and we will keep just hating each other, and we will never, ever be able to transfer power back to the people. So President Biden wants you to think that the Democrats are saving the day. The Democrats are saving the day. And the Republicans, they want you to think that, oh, we never shut down. We never did that, but they probably did. And I think even Trump encouraged the shutdowns, right? I think all but one Republican governor, I think it was Kristi Noem of South Dakota, shut down. Everybody else did. But that's what they want. They want us to think that our side is good and your side is bad, when in reality, it's all one side. It is all one side. So I replied to President Biden and I said, step 1, government destroys small business during the COVID pandemic. Step 2, wait. Step 3, government takes credit for doing something good when small businesses come back naturally, right? Notice how I didn't say Democrats or Republicans. I said government, because the problem, you see, is much bigger than one political party. The problem is much bigger than the Democrats or the Republicans. It's government in general. Government is the problem that small businesses shut down. And you can't tell me that it was COVID that shut down small businesses, because then magically COVID forgot to shut down the big box stores, right? COVID did not issue any cease and desist orders to those small businesses. And I firmly believe that this was an intentional plot, if you want to use that word plot, to destroy American small business independence, to ensure we are not financially independent. Because what's the best way to be financially independent is to own your own business. If there really are people in control, the ruling class that I like to say, then what's the best way to keep the people dependent other than to kill small businesses? As many small businesses as possible. Remember, dependency kills empowerment. And if we want to transfer power back to the people, we need to be as independent as possible. Let's go over to this tweet here where we're going to watch this clip from Governor Newsom of California say how the Second Amendment is a suicide pact. Watch this.
I mean, the Second Amendment's becoming a suicide pact, it feels like. I mean, it's just, and that's the only question the community wants. How do you, what about our kids?
A suicide pact. Oh my God. Okay, I get it. There's gun violence in America that is not like other countries. I get it. But I get it. I get it. I 100% understand. But the issue is not the gun itself. It's the person behind the gun. For the same reason why pencils and pens don't misspell words on their own, guns don't misspell, or guns don't kill people on their own. Now, I get it. We want to prevent the wrong people, the criminals, the people who would be committing these mass shooters. We want to do what we can as a society, as good people, to ensure those guns don't get placed into the wrong hands. I totally get it, and I am all for any gun control measures as long as it is constitutional, as long as you are not infringing on the law-abiding citizens to own a firearm, such as myself. Now, to say the Second Amendment is a suicide pact, holy smokes, guys, that is a big, dangerous statement. Why? Because the Second Amendment, remember, this podcast is all about transferring power back to the people. So what group? I'm going to give you an example of 2 groups of people. And I want you to think of which group has the power. A group of people that has firearms, or a group of people that's disarmed, right? Which type of people do you think has the power? Obviously, the group of people that have the firearms, but politicians like Governor Newsom, they want you to be afraid of your fellow American that has a firearm. They want you to be afraid of the gun. They want you to live in fear. And if you live in fear, you can be controlled. That's why. That's all it is this fear, fear, fear. Look at that mass shooting. Look at that. Look at that. They don't want you to live in a state of security. They don't want you to take care of yourself. They want you to be dependent on them. They want you to live in fear. To say the Second Amendment is a suicide pact. No, the Second Amendment is what is empowering the people. It is empowering the people to stop the advance of tyranny. That is 100% correct. It's not about hunting. It's not about this. It's about empowering the people so we can defend ourselves from anyone who would infringe on our rights, whether that be a private person, a fellow citizen, a neighbor, or the government itself. It is a way to prevent tyranny. Look at any country in the past that has mass genocides. They were a disarmed population. A disarmed population. We, the people, need to preserve our Second Amendment if we are going to maintain the power. That is one of the biggest things. I mean, there's so much more when it comes to transferring power back to the people. There's so much more. But that is a line. Things like our freedom of speech, our Second Amendment rights are two big ones. Our freedom of assembly. Things like that. When it comes to transfer, those must be preserved if we're going to retain what power that we have. Those must be preserved if we're going to transfer more power back to the people. Let's look at more fear from another politician, Hakeem Jeffries. Right-wing extremists stuck America with trillions of dollars in debt on failed wars and tax cuts for the super wealthy. I'm trying not to laugh while I'm reading this, by the way. We will not be lectured about fiscal responsibility by this crowd. I cannot believe what I read the first time I read that. Oh my God. And again, this is what they want us to do. It's the Democrats' fault for this issue, and that we're trillions of dollars in debt. No, it's really the Republicans' fault. See, Clinton deficit, good, Obama, Bush, blah, blah, blah. That's what they want us to do. That is what they want us to do, but we have to stop doing that if we are going to transfer power back to the people. We have to break free from this tribalistic design, this partisanship. Both parties contributed to our national debt. Both parties, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, they are both at fault. They both have skin in the game. They are both to blame. Equally, I would say. Now, okay, the Biden administration has been printing a lot. So if you want to say like, okay, maybe 60% of the blame is with the Democratic Party and 40% is with the Republicans, but you get my point. No one party is innocent. They are both to blame. And we have to recognize that if we are going to break free from this partisanship and transfer power back to the people. Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, my congresswoman here in California, we deserve to go to the grocery stores, schools, and community celebrations without the fear of gun violence. But right now, this epidemic is making it nearly impossible. Why are Republicans more interested in banning books than banning assault weapons? Oh me, oh my. Well, maybe they're not interested in banning assault weapons because of that thing that I said earlier, the Second Amendment, that's empowering the people to protect ourselves from anyone who would infringe on us. It's the great equalizer for a reason, a firearm. Now, the banning books, that is a whole long conversation, but why don't I just have you go look at this book called Genderqueer? That's one of the books that those big bad Republicans are trying to ban from our school libraries. Genderqueer, go look it up. Go on Amazon when you're done watching this. Go look at Genderqueer. That's one of the banned books. You can scroll down, I believe, and go look at some images. And then you see for yourself if that should be allowed in our school libraries, if that should be allowed for a kid to read. 6th graders, 5th graders, whatever. That's one of the big bad books. So again, that's fear-mongering. That's all this is fear-mongering. Hate. They want you to hate. And if you hate, and if you're angry, and if you're in fear, you can be controlled. We have to break free from fear. We have to break free from hate. We have to choose to love one another, regardless if we disagree with one another, regardless if you and I disagree on some very important topics, like the abortion issue, climate change, whatever it is, vaccines. I'm still going to love you. I'm not going to fear you. And that's what they don't want us to do. Lastly, this is a doozy, and I'm going to wrap up this episode with this. This is kind of shifting gears here, but wow. Good luck to the whole Western world. Children can't be I'm not even gonna say, you could just read it, whatever. I don't know if the YouTube censors will knock me if I say it. Trans age kids aren't kids. Trans age kids aren't kids. Okay. I've said it for a very long time now, not necessarily on this podcast. This is episode 4, that there is a push to normalize pedophilia. I'll say it again. There is a push to normalize pedophilia. And you can see it right here. Trans age kids aren't kids. So if a man can identify as a woman based off his feelings, why can't an adult identify as a kid? Why not? If gender is a social construct, why can't age be a social construct? So you see, that's why those bigots out there are always saying there's only 2 genders. Because they can see what's going to happen in a few years when that ideology, that mindset goes haywire and goes crazy. We're going to see more and more of this, guys. We're going to see a push for pedophilia soon to normalize it. And soon, I mean, here in San Diego at the YMCA, there already was a grown, just recently, a couple weeks ago, a teenager spoke out, a grown man who identifies as a woman, a transgender woman, man, in the woman's locker room, okay, who identifies as a female. And so much support behind that person. So much support from society. What is going on? We are one step closer to pedophilia if we accept that. Mark my words. So that's it for episode 4. I'm going to wrap it up with that. Choose to love one another. Don't be fearful. And when I say about this, I don't mean to hate anybody who's transgender. I get it, people feel things, but I'm not going to say to a man that you are a woman because you feel like you're a woman. You're still a man. But I'm not going to hate that person. I'm still going to choose to love that person, as a matter of fact. But there's certain barriers that we have to draw in society, certain lines that we have to draw in society to say what's normal. And it's okay to say that things aren't okay. It's okay to say, no, that is not okay. That a grown man should not be in the woman's locker room. That should not be a controversial subject. That should not be a controversial statement. And it wasn't too long ago that 100% of society understood that. But something happened over the past few years, and everybody lost their minds. So, once again, do not buy into the fear-mongering from the politicians. Break yourself free from tribalism. Break yourself free from partisanship. Because if we can do that, we can get closer and closer to transferring power back to the people. If you like this message, please give this video a like, subscribe to this channel, share it with a friend. My name is Corbin Sable. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, A Plea to Humanity.